Do you want to see the winner fight Tom?
The winner should absolutely fight Tom.
Jones hints at vacating gold to chase only super fights. Aspinall doubles down on principle. Dana says he hates it. Fans ask, who's protecting the brand and who's protecting the fighters? Tonight we unpack the power plays, the leaks, and the stakes behind the smiles where timing, trust, and title belts collide. If you thought this was just another fight week, think again. This is the moment the mask slips or the empire tightens its grip. Want the full breakdown without the fluff? Hit subscribe to MMA Desk, your ringside seat to the stories, and let's dive right in the video. Dana White has always been the loud, confident face of the UFC, but in this story he sounds different, guarded, even worried. He says he won't risk putting Jon Jones in big positions, especially not on a huge stage like a possible White House card. That line matters because Jones is one of the biggest names in the sport, an all-time great who draws massive attention. For Dana to say he can't trust him in the biggest spotlight suggests fear of something going wrong, maybe an injury, a failed test, or drama that overshadows the event.
When are you fighting Tom?
I was waiting for it. When are you fighting Tom? Like, governor. The UFC in town, we all got a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes. They're one of the biggest organizations in sports, and right now Tom and I have agreed to wait for the UFC to make their announcements.
Fans know Jones's past is complicated, and Dana has defended him before, so hearing Dana pull back now feels like a big shift. It raises questions. Is this about protecting the UFC's image more than celebrating a legend? Is it a message to Jones to play by the rules or be sidelined? The tone also sets up tension for the rest of the story. If Dana won't place Jones at the top of a historic card, then who does he trust? And why now, after years of support? The way he repeats that, he can't risk it, makes it sound like the brand comes first, even over a star like Jones. To many that sounds like the company deciding the story, not the fighters. It is the kind of move that can make fans wonder who is really in charge of the sport's biggest moments and who gets to write the headlines. Jon Jones answers with a calm, steady message. He says he is not retired. He trains 5 days a week. He is in the drug testing pool. That means he's keeping his options open and staying ready. But he also says the decision to fight at the White House event is up to the boss, meaning Dana White. This puts the power struggle in the open.
He does nothing for me. He does nothing for me. If you're a person that wants to see me really challenged, then I get it. 7 years younger, like 35 pounds bigger than me, right? I get it. It's like, wow, this Jon's so good. We finally found someone way younger and way bigger than him.
Jones is ready and wants to compete, but knows the final call comes from the UFC. It's like a superstar student who still needs the principal's signature. The phrase "up to the boss" matters because fans often think champions can pick their fights. In reality, the UFC controls matchmaking, timing, and cards. By saying this out loud, Jones shows he understands how things work, and he wants people to know he's doing his part. He's not ducking training. He's not hiding from tests. He's prepared. If he's not on the card, it won't be because he isn't ready. This creates pressure on Dana. If Jones is clean, fit, and willing, why say no? It also makes people think about how much the UFC values safety, public relations, and control. The line between best fight and best business move starts to blur, and everyone sees it. Then comes the twist that makes fans lean in. Jones says he told the UFC months ago he didn't want to fight Tom Aspinall. He even said he would vacate the belt to avoid that fight. Instead of building toward Aspinall, Jones wants super fights with already established champions, the kind that make history and pay big.
He's annoying to me. He's annoying to me. And that's my own personal, he annoys me. I get to you guys, you find it entertaining, but I find him annoying.
He says he's past the point of proving himself against up-and-comers. He wants legacy matches, not risky tests against hungry rising stars. If that's true, it means the UFC kept quiet about his plan to vacate, all while hype kept growing around Jones versus Aspinall. That would upset fans who felt teased. It would also make Aspinall feel strung along, training for a huge chance that might never come. Jones's words also cut at the heart of champion duty. Some people believe a champion should fight whoever is next. Others think legends earn the right to pick special fights. Jones is clearly in the second group. The UFC, however, sells the idea that the best should fight the best available, especially if a belt is on the line. Jones's stance challenges that, and it makes the company's silence look like a move to protect interest and control the story. Tom Aspinall steps into the spotlight with a different kind of honesty. He says if his close friend and training partner rises to a title shot, he would rather vacate the belt than fight him. That sounds simple and respectful, but it challenges a core part of the sport.
This whole thing with Jon Jones, is that just completely forgotten about now? And especially when you hear Pereira talking about Jon Jones at the White House, what are your thoughts on all of that?
In all honesty,
I just couldn't really care less about any of it.
Yeah,
I'm just like focused on this. This is what I want to do. As far as I'm concerned, that's done, that's in the past. John Jones is retired now, so what's the point in really talking about him?
The UFC wants the two best to fight, no matter what gym they're from or who they hang out with. Dana White responds by saying he hates the idea. He calls it insane to hand over the belt instead of competing to prove who is best. This is where feelings clash with business. Aspinall's choice is about friendship and loyalty. Dana's position is about champions doing their job in the cage. For fans, it opens a bigger question. How much should personal values matter in a sport built on competition? Some cheer Tom for standing by his friend. Others think a champion must face everyone. The tension is real because it touches identity. Tom sees himself as a human first, not just a product. The UFC sees the belt as a promise to fight all challengers. Neither side is wrong, but they're pulling in opposite directions. And when the boss says he hates your choice, it sets up conflict that can spill into how you're promoted, praised, or criticized. Aspinall supporters point to the times he did everything the UFC asked. He took short-notice fights. He served as a backup. He said yes when the company needed him to save a card.
Let's see how he does it. I get that narrative. But for me, if you were my manager, if you were on my team, why not fight against Pereira, a guy who's the same age as you, and we walk around the same exact size? Business-wise, it makes more sense.
Yet after the eye poke fight and his comments about not fighting a teammate, critics say Dana didn't back him. Some feel he looked the other way or even pushed a negative story about Tom quitting. That hurts, especially for a fighter who tried to be a team player. This is where emotions boil over. People remember the night at Madison Square Garden when Aspinall stepped in on late notice. They remember him keeping quiet to avoid drama. They remember him being ready to fight John Jones if the call came. And now they see the boss upset because Tom won't fight a friend and might be thinking about boxing later. For many fans, this balance feels unfair. If a fighter stands by his values, should he be punished in the press conference? Should his injuries be played down? The heart of the sport is courage, respect, and honesty. When a fighter shows those qualities and gets scolded, it can feel like the company values control more than character. This is why the fan reaction is hot and divided. The fight with Cyril Gane is where everything explodes into public view. The bout ends in a double eye poke, and some fans boo. That hurt Tom. He shouts back that he was poked knuckle deep and couldn't see.
A lot of people are upset with Tom Aspinall for calling off the fight. I'm here to tell you why he was correct. If you didn't see it, the UFC heavyweight showdown in Abu Dhabi didn't end in a knockout or a submission, but rather in a double eye poke, resulting in a no contest in round 1 between Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane.
Meanwhile, Dana praises how good Gane looked in the round, highlighting his sharp performance and bloodying work. To critics, this sounded like ignoring Aspinall's serious injury. They argue that protecting the fighter should come first. Eye pokes are dangerous, and everyone knows that one bad poke can change a career. When a boss seems to gloss over that to hype the other guy, it feels cold. At the same time, fans are confused and emotional. No one wants a huge main event to end early by foul. Booing the result is different than booing the fighter, but in the loud arena it all mixes together. Tom's raw reaction showed how much this moment meant to him. It wasn't just about a win or loss. It was about feeling respected and safe. Seeing that slip away in front of the world leaves scars that don't heal fast. And it pushes the story from one bad fight to a bigger argument about care, fairness, and leadership. Aspinall's father gives the most human details. He says Tom's eyes were badly hurt. Doctors checked for lasting damage. Vision was blurry. The eye even looked gray for a time. He insists the fight should have been stopped right away and that there's no way to train an eyeball to be stronger. These are reminders that fighters are not machines. They are sons, fathers, and friends. Parents worry not about rankings, but about their child's health today and their sight years from now. Hearing a dad talk like this forces people to slow down and think, was the stoppage fast enough? Were the rules enforced fairly? Did the public messaging support the injured fighter? The father's words also pushed back against any idea that Tom wanted out. He didn't. He was hurt. There's a difference between quitting and being unable to continue after a foul. In sports, that difference matters. The more fans learn about the injury, the more they understand Tom's pain and fury. And if they feel the bosses didn't show that same understanding, trust starts to break. Once trust fades, even future wins can't fix the sense that something is off behind the scenes. The betting numbers and rematch talk add another layer. Before the fight, odds favored Aspinall. After everything, some say a rebooked fight could be close, maybe even lean toward Gane once money starts moving. That swing tells a story about how one night can change public belief. People are trying to measure stock, like a fighter is a company share. But sport is not just math. The eye pokes muddy the data. Was Gane's early success a sign of a real gap, or just part of a round that ended in a foul? Did Tom's game plan need time to work, or was Gane truly in control? Bettors and pundits argue, and the UFC sees dollar signs in a rematch. A close line means more debate and more buys, yet the emotions from the first fight don't vanish. Tom's anger, the crowd's confusion, and Dana's comments all hang in the air.
and I just don't like him. And at the end of the day, if I give him the opportunity to fight me, I want to be so compensated. I want to say it, I want that you money, honestly.
When they step back into the cage, fans will watch not only the punches and kicks, but also the body language, the refereeing, and the post-fight words. The rematch won't just decide a winner, it will also test trust. Can a clean fight settle the score and calm the storm, or will another messy moment deepen the divide? The video claims the UFC shapes stories to fit its needs. It says the company hid Jones's plan to vacate, let hype build, and then acted shocked when the truth surfaced. It argues that fighter safety and fairness sometimes take a back seat to selling pay-per-views and protecting the brand. That is a serious charge. If fans believe it, they may see press conferences and interviews as performances rather than straight answers. It's also why the Jones-Aspinall situation hits so hard. On one side, a legend wants legacy fights. On the other, a champion chooses friendship over a clash. In the middle, a promoter wants the biggest headlines and clean marketable stories. When those three interests collide, someone's voice gets turned down. The video suggests that someone is often the fighter who doesn't fit the script. If a champion refuses a teammate fight, if a star says he'll vacate, if an injury ruins a main event, the message may be steered to blame or distract. Fans are not naive. They notice gaps and mixed signals. Once they think narratives are managed too tightly, they start doubting everything, from matchmaking to rankings. Trust is easy to lose and hard to win back. The final piece is about the future. Some suggest Aspinall might finish his contract, maybe facing top contenders like Volkov or Almeida, and then try boxing, chasing bigger paydays and more respect. They point to Francis Ngannou, who left after clashing with the UFC and found huge opportunities. If Tom follows that path, it would send another shock through the heavyweight division. The UFC would still be strong, but a pattern of champions walking away would be hard to ignore. It would say something about how fighters weigh money, safety, and control. It would show that loyalty has limits when athletes feel unheard or underpaid. None of this means the sport is dying. MMA is global and growing, but the relationship between fighters and the promotion is changing. Stars now know their value outside one company. Fans can follow them anywhere. When a promotion pushes too hard, fighters may push back with their feet. In the end, everyone wants great fights and fair treatment. The question is whether the UFC can balance business with empathy, keep its champions happy, and still deliver the moments that make crowds roar. If it can, the brand will shine. If it can't, more champions may choose a different ring. The story of Dana White, Jon Jones, and Tom Aspinall isn't just about fights, it's about control, loyalty, and truth in a sport built on chaos. For years, fans saw the UFC as the biggest stage for the toughest athletes, but now they're seeing the cracks behind the lights. Dana's refusal to trust Jones, his anger at Aspinall's honesty, and the silence over fighter injuries have all sparked the same question. Who really runs the fight game, the warriors in the cage or the businessmen behind the scenes? Jon Jones wants legacy over duty, Tom Aspinall wants loyalty over fame, Dana White wants stability and spectacle. Those three visions don't fit neatly together, and that's why the UFC feels more unpredictable than ever. What started as a promotion built on grit and glory now faces its toughest opponent, its own reflection. This isn't the end of the story. It's the start of a new era where fighters speak louder, fans look closer, and the truth is harder to control. The empire may not fall, but it's definitely shaking. Stay locked in as the story unfolds. Subscribe to MMA Desk for all the breaking updates, deep dives, and behind-the-scenes truth of the fight world.